Hey, welcome. Thank you for watching. It looks like a few actually did it. That is both exciting and terrifying at the same time. So my name's Aaron. This is the first time I've live streamed on Twitch. I hope I at least meet your expectations here. So what I'm going to do here is going to be kind of a marketing news digest. And my goal here and why I think this is going to be worth your time, I do digital marketing for a national brand, so I read a lot of marketing news. What I intend to do here is pick the best of that news and share it with other kinds of things I can do for you. There's the strategic news. That's kind of the long-term learnings. It's the kind of things that will help you make big moves with confidence. The other thing I really hope to do for you is provide you with some tactical information that's immediately useful and will make you better at your job right away. Those are the things that I really look for in the course of doing my work, and hopefully I can provide that value to you too. Quick note, I realize that if I'm going to keep doing this, we will have a topic list. You can find each topic list at aarongrote.com. It will include, for example, links to the stories we're going to talk about today. So our first topic, a podcast you'll hear me talk about again. It's an incredible resource. It's kind of a blend of real-time interviews and historical commentary. I can kind of tell what this guy's trying to do is both do historian work and kind of tell his story about how he perceives the truth of the history of the web, but also kind of document and preserve primary source material for future historians. It's a fascinating thing to watch happen as it's happening, and I'm really thankful it exists. Anyway, the episode we're talking about today is episode 34. It's an interview with a guy named Owen Thomas. A long time ago, he was a friend on Wired's servers. It was kind of a satirical, dry humor site that existed in a time when those kind of sites, so obviously a lot of that commentary that conversation happened around advertising and how they approached advertising. I was shocked to learn that they were charging CPMs in the hundreds of dollars. And to justify that, Owen and cultural impact of it. And so the technology companies that advertised on Hotwired did so because they wanted to look trendy. Then there were the consumer brands, think AT&T. They advertised on Hotwired because they wanted to look innovative. Now, all of this seems intuitive to us, but I think the thing that it's easy to miss is that these companies were actually thinking about their placements, where their display ads ran, as a form of brand signaling, as a form of brand building. They were really, they cared, right? And that's a strong juxtaposition against today's programmatic environment where nobody cares any more than they have to in order to not get yelled at on Twitter where their ads run, right? You meet minimum brand safety requirements, and of course you're doing some site trimming just to improve your performance, but you're not really viewing it as a way to build your brand, right? I think history teaches us that almost everything happens in cycles. I think it's inevitable that that pendulum is going to start swinging back toward us treating where our display ads, where our whatever ads are running as a brand signal, as a way of defining who, what and who our companies are. So as a medium-term thing, that's something that's very much in the front of my mind. When does that pendulum swing start? How far does it go, right? And start thinking about how can our brand start to define itself by where our ads are running. Not immediately actionable, definitely a medium to long term. We're just going to go back. I'm sorry about that. Huge growth in podcast listenership. What it doesn't really do is call attention to the 13 million to 16 million households from 2016 to 2017. It's important to note that's still only 13% of Nielsen-defined TV households. So this is not a mass reach medium, especially when you consider how fragmented the podcast in podcasting that make it hard to be accountable, I would say. Hard to make yourself and your programs accountable unless you're doing some direct response or almost affiliate marketing style measurement. It is possible to do brand lift studies too. Those cost money, and in order to really justify that, you would kind of have to, I would say, make a media investment that could justify the cost of a brand lift study. So that might be out of reach for a lot of people's testing budgets. So podcasts growing quickly. It's an exciting area. It's a fast growing area. Something to consider for your testing. Know why you're doing it, and don't try ad supported plans. We've got about 31 million US monthly active users. Whereas Pandora has about 71 million monthly active users in the US. So just for benchmarks, music is still bigger. So next up, we've got a story from Motherboard. That's a Vice property. We'll see if this one loads any faster. It talks about, it gives an anecdote, I should say, about an email threat that profile, search profile. There's a travel website, travel booking website that got an email with threats that included visual examples of what this threat had real teeth. There really was a Twitter bot army out there. This really could happen. Again, this is an anecdote. There's no indication in the story that this is a huge, dangerous trend, but it could be quickly. All I'll say is people who don't have plans tend to panic when something bad happens. So have a plan. Acknowledge with your legal team, with your PR team, that this is a possibility, and the attempted reputation takedown would be more difficult. Just law of large numbers, right? Evaluate your risk, have a plan. Read this Motherboard story, link to it at aarongrote.com. This is something that could matter to you. Finally, kind of a weird thing. Oath, which used to be AOL, it's owned by Verizon, also Yahoo, right? They're still scanning Yahoo Mail email content to target ads. So if you have Yahoo Mail, Yahoo is scanning your inbox and your provide, and that they think it's justified benefit exchange for them to do this. there's going to be a conversation about this. It is useful to know that Oath is doing this if you're advertising through them that that maybe these capabilities exist. The reason I included this in here because it's not really with the way they're doing that is through e-receipts, through emailed receipts. So if you are doing that in your company, if you're sending e-receipts, you may be able to get to purchase level attribution through Oath using their Yahoo Mail scanning. Now, knowing Yahoo Mail's market share is pretty low, and knowing conversion rates are going to be pretty low. It seems like any campaign that used that method of attribution